FrightFest TV. I'm Billy Chainsaw. This is Richard Raaphorst, the director of the fantastic Frankenstein's Army, and one of the lead players, Alexander Mercury.
Hi.
Hello, hi.
Hi. Thanks for having us.
Hi. So, Richard, the genesis of the movie, because you wrote the original story, but not the screenplay. So,
yes.
From whence did that come?
You mean where I did the idea come? Well, it's not that I got the idea. I think the idea got me, because I believe that ideas are always everywhere, and at a certain moment you just get struck by it, like like lightning. Exactly. Then you just you can sit in a car or do anything, and suddenly just it goes into your mind and it doesn't let you go.
Can you remember where you were when you got hit by lightning?
yeah, totally, absolutely. It's very clear. I was at the advertising company doing storyboards. I forgot what kind of storyboard, and I was listening to a soundtrack. I always listen to soundtracks when I work, and it was a soundtrack of the Fight Club.
Okay.
And it had this tune in the beginning, like really aggressive, like the opening sequence where the camera is going into the neuron system, and I just saw mechanical arms chasing a girl, and I just kept following me this image or this energy or I don't know, inspiration, and then slowly a story unfolded, but that took years, really.
How many years?
Maybe 6, 7.
Really?
Yeah.
So was it did it take long to actually make the film from like concept to completion?
No, because when I finally got its final form, I made some artwork, and I also knew the title. I knew the title before I knew the story. It leaked out over the internet, and I suddenly got all those reactions about Frankenstein's Army. What is this? Is this the new worst case scenario or whatever? And I thought, shit, I really need to do something with this. So that was the moment there I started to work on this. But it only took 3 years when we were standing on the set. So it was quite a smooth process finally. Yeah.
And how did you get involved, Mr. Mercury?
I just went to a casting and auditioned first with the director, and then called me up for a recall. Richard came over. So I read for another part, and
that's true.
Richard scratched his head for about a week, and then called my agent and said, "Hey, would like to see Alexander for another part."
What was the other part that
it was Sergei, I think.
Yeah.
It's a pure vanity thing, you want to try and spend as much time in front of the camera as possible, not behind. But that's another kind of lead part, the character that the whole film rests on. And as they say, there are no small parts with small actors. And if you immerse yourself in the part and create that world around you, which was a challenge.
Well, ostensibly, you are the key character because it's all seen through your eyes.
Yeah.
So
I just, you just had to embrace it. And
so, what was it about him that said he's the man for this part?
It was.
Was that the beard?
No, it's were your shoes. Your shoes. Yeah, I saw his shoes and I thought he's. Now, to be honest, he came in. He was very well prepared. He had the backpack, everything. He was doing stuff.
I brought I went to Camden Market. And I got
but he
you wear this thing? The soldiers wear.
He was perfect. He was perfect, prepared. Really, spot on.
Oh, stop it!
No, really. Just. No, but I saw just character Dimitri in front of my eyes. It was just like he was just doing the thing so precise that it was like a cameraman operating the camera, and I couldn't get low. I just fell off on the image.
So was this unfolding when he was auditioning for the other part?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it just obviously he was Dimitri. No other choice. It was just clear. It was just clear. So, what do you? Well, then I needed to convince him that he should be playing Dmitri and not Sergei. And he was. You felt bad about it first.
That wasn't bad, It's just
of bad.
It's just you set your mind on character, and you kind of you drive for that.
But wasn't it between a rock and a hard place because you had anticipated? Well, you were auditioning for a part in front of the camera, like you said, but you end up behind the camera in the film. Although the film is based around on your POV. Your point of view. I mean, it's all shot through your eyes.
Yeah. Well, like I said, you can make it as rich or as bare or barren as you want. And I had quite a few questions with regards to Dmitri. In fact, it said that it's a Jewish character, I wasn't happy with the name of the character Dmitri. We wanted to change the name. We did end up changing some things like background of the story, background of the character, and his motivations for being there and filming this and making this propaganda film, and ended up making it, I think, more personal, a more personal story, which something that we thought the audience could relate to and feel for the character, make it more universal and more three-dimensional. To me, I think he was a bit flat, but we found those twists and turns, and in fact, thanks to a friend of mine who recommended a few books to read as part of research.
What kind of books? Which books?
It was just books on what was going on at the time, the repressions, the Stalin's repressions, the trials that were going on at the time. It was just loads of stuff like the 1937 trials, and the prosecutions, the all that. And when I read those, and I kind of realized, the extent of fear in which people lived, and what was happening at the time, it was really horrible. It was really a very, very tense atmosphere, and so what we kind of borrowed that concept and we implemented it in the film to give it another dimension, I guess, to the character, which when revealed, kind of, I think, makes it more personal and more. Just something that ordinary members of the audience can relate to.
Yeah. Did you draw on anything external from films, like from art or literature, for the creations in the book, in the film? The actual monsters?
No, not really. It came really... everything just literally came out of my mind.
So you're responsible for the design of the monsters as well?
Yes.
Yeah, it hit you hard, that lightning, didn't it? It did a good job.
Well, my background is a graphic art is an artist, so I came from the School of Fine Arts. So I just draw everything out first, and then they just made it.
So was it heavily storyboarded then?
Yeah. Each frame is storyboarded and everything is drawn out and designed.
How difficult was it? It must have been quite a claustrophobic shoot. It looks like a claustrophobic shoot.
Absolutely. When we blew our noses, it was black. Like, holy shit.
So was it a real location then? It wasn't a set? What was the location?
It was a closed down mining complex in the Czech Republic. And the place was like... it was like everyone just left the building. The shoes were still there, the posters, the pin-ups were still there, clothes were still hanging there, all kind of personal stuff was still there. It was like,
Did you leave all that stuff there that became part of...
Not literally, but I used it as a source of inspiration.
Mm-hmm.
I really love the idea of an environment which is really being used heavily. I'm so annoyed by overdressed locations or too designed. look at it. If you see a fantasy movie, the floors are always clean, like someone cleaned them.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the cameras cannot roll over. And I hate those things. I want to have the details all over the place. I really want to feel that people lived into this place. And using a real location, you're allowed to do it. You even put more stuff on the ground. Made it even more, adding more details. So did that present any difficulties though? The fact of like what the environment was like there. Only that was very claustrophobic, and we had a hospital. We had a hospital car once on set. Ambulance, yeah.
Why was that?
It was not for you, was it?
Either way, I don't remember.
You had a couple of injuries.
It might have been.
Was it a head trauma?
Yeah. The piece that you can't remember, No, it was a couple of injuries, like someone just fell into a hole. The lady just bumped her head real heavily.
I remember that. Yeah.
Some other stuff, Ivan, he was really. I thought he just broke all his limbs when he just fell in that hole.
Oh God, yeah.
It was that dramatic. How deep was the hole?
Oh God.
I don't know. He was just.
I think it was just
falling out of frame.
It was
the shaft.
Yeah, it was. Was that the bit when he slipped up and he fell down? That was like the first week of the shoot, and it was about 40 minutes drive outside Karlovy Vary, where the film festival takes place, and so we're just shooting the propaganda bits, that my character shoots, and getting them to run through the fields and stuff, and it was all kind of covered in snow, and there was this bit when they're on the hill, and then Ivan's character, he just slipped up, and he's a massive guy, and I think we thought he broke his back or something.
Yeah, it was really, but he was a tough guy, and he was really crawling over the floor. Yeah, but also Josh, I think the ambulance came for Josh. He was really into a bad condition when we did the Burnt Matchman. It was something, I forgot what it was, but it was really, it was a nightmare to realize your dream at a certain point. And also myself, I was very ill during one of the most complex scenes in a mining shaft. I ate something bad, so I had this pain in my stomach and terrible. And I was really surrounded by my own monsters. And I thought, Richard, why do you work so hard to get into this miserable position, surrounded by your own demons? Why? What is wrong with you? Just choose a normal life, Just be happy in advertising.
But you love what you do, I can tell.
I don't know. I was just feeling like this, I don't know. Well, it's like a dream, it's a nightmare to realize a dream, it really is. But it's, when I look back, it's one of the highlights of my life, so.
There you go.
Yeah.
So the actual monsters, the creations, it's kind of, they were quite complex. So how easy was it to sort of move them and get them moving around? Because there's a lot going on with all the bits of metal, the biomechanical bits and everything.
Yeah, well, at first it's all practical, so no CGI. So
you can see that comes across. You can see it's all that, because I find with most CGI, even the most advanced CGI, you always get that kind of stuttery kind of motion, but you can see that it was really gritty, grainy, and very physical. That you could tell they were people inside those contraptions.
Physical is the key word for this movie, because it's found footage. You're close on everything, and it's also a period film, so it has to be authentic. So if I would use CGI, everything would feel like a lie or a cheat. So that's why we did it, but also
kind of catered to the mood of the film, I think. If you shoot a film that is set during the Second World War in CGI, and it's just
that's like.
Well, you've got that whole political angle to the whole thing as well. So it's kind of like you start importing CGI and stuff, and it kind of takes it away.
It takes away the soul.
dilutes although it's a fantastical scenario, it would dilute the realism
exactly
within that fantastical
and that
scenario.
all has to do with the physical aspect. When it's not there, then you don't believe it. You don't buy it.
So Alexander, what was the most difficult thing for you during the shoot?
I think it was just staying alert, being in the ball, and out there for other actors, even though you're not kind of, like I said, in front of the camera, and you're not allowed to make eye contact. That was really difficult, actually, because the other actors, sometimes they had to look straight into the lens, like down the barrel, and obviously that's not how you usually make a film. You look at other actors. So the tendency to kind of like just be complacent, and because the only tool you had then at the end of the day is your voice. So the imagining and in a way I love that, because you have to kind of create this world that you live in, make it bigger and larger and richer, and work on the voice and well, sometimes you had to project a bit more than you naturally would, because you're like fourth person down the line behind the camera, and then suddenly they say, okay, it's we've changed the order of scenes today, and we're gonna shoot your scene now, or like second unit would come to you and say, hey, okay, right, let's shoot this extra scene, and then you have to just kind of improvise a scene in the prison in Lubyanka, where you've been tortured because your parents been arrested, and you kind of right, yeah, let's do it. Just normal stuff that actors do, just stay open and be there for the other actors, and but it was cool. We had fun, all the usual. A lot of testosterone, a lot of testosterone, I have to say. A lot of boys on set, not that many ladies, and we were just like, So is it Friday yet? Is it Friday yet? But yeah, no, I'd do it again. Absolutely. It was cool. It was exotic, so you're in London, then suddenly like they say, okay, we're going to Prague, and then you're like 5 a.m, you're out, in the snow.
It's interesting you call it exotic, because I don't think there's that many people that would regard being stuck down. Was it a mining place, did you say? Down a mine shaft where it's snowy upstairs. So I take it was cold.
The first weeks were very cold.
Getting grubby and knocked about.
Yeah.
We love it.
So
what's next for you?
For me, developing a new project, and which I hope will put together end of this year.
Can you say what kind of genre or anything about it specifically?
Yeah, it's related to horror. It will be a fantastic genre. It's more science fiction, and you can compare it a little bit to The Thing from John Carpenter, but then in a environment like 2001, so very stylistic and futuristic. And it's about the discovery of the Higgs boson and everything which goes wrong when you try to control it, this little particle. It's
what about you, Alexander?
There is a film that has come out recently, or will come out recently, I think, cause doing a festival circuit in Russia as well, because I work between London and Moscow. It's called Sex, Coffee, Cigarettes, sorry, Jarmusch. So I watched that a couple of weeks ago. It was fun, so I'm looking forward to promoting that. And I also wrote a short film called Mama, which I'm going to direct later this winter. So I'm looking forward to that. And
what genre is that?
It's probably more like a family drama, I think. And I'm also writing a feature film with a scriptwriter. It's called Let's Kill the Oligarch, and it's kind of the premises around real life events, something that I did, used to do at least. I can't really give away any more than that, because
that's cool. That's fantastic. Thank you very much. Great.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks.
Cheers. Thanks.